George Zimmerman was not defending himself. He was acting out of anger, assumption, and prejudice. This is a case of second-degree murder. And the state of Florida will show you, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Zimmerman's actions were not just reckless, but rooted in a pattern of deep aggression and bias. Now, let's be clear. Both sides agree that Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, and both sides agree that Zimmerman was told by the police not to follow him. But he did anyways. That was a choice, and Trayvon paid the price. Zimmerman was not a police officer. He had no badge, no authority. But he made himself the captain of a neighborhood watch, a group no one else joined. And in that role, he made 46 phone calls, most about young black males. The defense may persuade you to believe that this racist pattern is a mere coincidence, but Your Honor, truth is consistent. Consistent patterns do not lie. When a man sees danger in every black boy on the street, it stops being a coincidence and it starts being a conviction. You will hear from Rachel Gentle, the last person Trayvon ever spoke to. She'll tell you Trayvon said someone was following him. She heard fear in his voice. She heard him run. Then a thud and a silence. Rachel will also show you who Trayvon really was. Someone who laughed, someone who cared, someone who had dreams. You'll also hear from Dr. Gina Simons, an expert in anger and bias. She examined Zimmerman's behavior, and what she found was troubling. A pattern of aggression, obsession with authority, and implicit racial bias. He had assaulted a police officer. He had a history of domestic abuse. He had a fixation with law enforcement. This is not a man defending his neighborhood. This is a man looking for power and control. And Trayvon, he was a kid. Yes, like all teenagers, he made mistakes, but he was learning. He helped his mother. He volunteered. He had plans. The defense will argue self-defense, but Your Honor, ask yourself, who followed whom? Who disobeyed the police? Who carried a gun? And who carried candies and a drink? The facts speak for themselves, Your Honor. Zimmerman saw a black teenager and called him a punk. He ignored police instructions not to follow. He got out of his car with a loaded gun. He had a documented history of violence and aggression. And minutes later, Trayvon was dead. That is what evidence will show. Your Honor, the question stands tall. Burden of proof, it rests with us, the prosecution, and we embrace it unapologetically because the facts speak louder than excuses. Because we will prove, step by step, witness by witness, that there are no ifs and buts or assumptions, that there are no gaps and no missed chains, no missed links in the chain of evidence. That is what precisely the evidence will show you, Your Honor, that Trayvon Martin's only crime was walking home. But George Zimmerman made a clear and conspicuous choice to follow, to pursue, and then to shoot. And that choice, Your Honor, demands accountability. And at the end of this trial, the state of Florida will ask for one verdict, one just verdict, guilty of second-degree murder. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That was a great speech. Now for defense, do you also have an opening statement to deliver?
Your Honor. Good morning. May it please the court, Your Honor?
Yes, begin whenever you're ready.
Your Honor, in this courtroom, where justice is not just a principle but a practice, I stand before you with deep respect for your fair and impartial judgment. Your Honor, every trial begins with a tragedy, but not every tragedy is a crime. Your Honor, now you are going to hear a lot of emotion in this courtroom, as you have heard before. Your Honor, what happened on February 26, 2012 was tragic. A young man lost his life. A community was shaken. A nation cried out. But we are not here to mourn. We are here to judge. Not with emotions, but with evidence. Your Honor, evidence that shows not hatred, not racism, not fear. Real, immediate, bone breaking fear. George Zimmerman is not on trial for being cautious. He is not on trial for calling the police. He is not on trial for protecting his neighborhood, Your Honor. He is on trial because in the chaos of dark and rainy night, he was attacked and he defended himself. Your Honor, this case is not a mystery. George Zimmerman did not flee. He did not hide. He called the police. He stayed at the scene. He screamed loudly for help. And when the confrontation turned violent, when his head was slammed against the pavement, when he feared he might die, he pulled the only lifeline he had, his lawfully carried weapon. Your Honor, the prosecution wants to talk about history, about race, about reputation. But this case is about one moment, one terrifying moment, when George Zimmerman had to decide, do I live or do I die? Your Honor, you will hear that Trayvon Martin was no stranger to conflict. He had a record of violence, drug use, and troubling behavior. That he called Zimmerman names, that he did not run to safety. He turned around, he confronted, he stuck first. You will hear from Chief Bill Leoner, who will tell you that the evidence, the screams, the broken nose, the head injuries align with Zimmerman's account. You will hear the prosecution bring up his past. You will hear about old conflicts and broken dreams. But those don't change what happened that night. They don't change the bruises, the bleeding, the screaming. They don't change the fact that George Zimmerman tried to avoid the conflict, but he was dragged into one. Your Honor, you will hear from Zimmerman himself, not as a predator, not as a monster, but as a man, flawed, afraid, and forced to make a split-second decision, Your Honor. The law in Florida says you have the right to defend yourself. That right doesn't disappear because people later second-guess your fear. That right doesn't disappear, Your Honor, because the outcome was heartbreaking. This case may shake your heart, Your Honor, but it must not shake your reason. Because if George Zimmerman, bruised, bleeding, screaming for help, did not act in self-defense, then whoever can. This case is not about race, Your Honor. It is not about reputation. It is about survival. This by the time you have heard the facts, seen the evidence, and weighed the law, there will be no doubt. Burden of proof lies with the prosecution to prove it beyond the reasonable doubt. George Zimmerman did not commit murder, Your Honor. He defended his life, and for that, the only just verdict is guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing that we are done with opening statements, we will be moving to the prosecution case in chief. So prosecution, you may call on your first witness whenever you're ready.
Yes, Your Honor, I call to stand Rachel Gentle for direct examination. Good morning, Miss Rachel. Can you please spell your name for the record?
Good morning. My name is Rachel Gentle, Rachel.
And Miss Rachel, how are you related to this case?
It breaks my heart to say this, counsel, but Trayvon was my best friend. I was the last person that he talked to. I heard everything from when he got scared to when the call got cut off. I was the last person he talked to before he got shot, and you have to understand that that is a very difficult burden to carry.
I do, Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel, before we speak of that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, yes, counsel. Well, I'm 19. I am Haitian. I grew up speaking Creole and Spanish. People often judge me because I have a slight underbite and because of how I usually talk, but I have a 3 GPA. I have my life together.
And Miss Rachel, when did you meet Trayvon Martin?
I met him back in 2nd grade. We've been friends ever since.
And what kind of friend was Trayvon, from all that you know?
Trayvon was a good person, really. Trayvon always made people laugh, but he was also someone you could really count on, you know. When I was little, my friends, they used to, not really friends, kids really, who bullies, who used to make fun of my underbite. I often came home crying because of that. I was really heartbroken. But Trayvon, he always comforted me. He said, "Don't even worry about them, Rachel." Even when he got in trouble at school, that never really changed the kind of person that he was.
Elaborate on Trayvon getting trouble at school.
Well, yes, he did get suspended once, but that doesn't make him a bad person. People act like you make mistake means that you're a thug for life, but that wasn't Trayvon.
And why was he suspended?
They found a bag in his locker that he used to carry weed in, but he wasn't a dealer and he wasn't pushing it on anyone. His parents were divorced. You have to understand that he's had a tough life. He was going through it. But Trayvon, he was really a good person. He cared about people. He even volunteered at the Wolverines concession stand with me.
Your Honor, the prosecution would like to screen share what is being pre-marked as Exhibit 9. May I?
Yes, of course.
Miss Rachel, do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
And without getting into details, can you explain to the jury what exactly this is?
Well, this right here, it shows Trayvon's name on the list for volunteering at the Wolverines concession football stand.
And Miss Rachel, what exactly does this prove or show?
That's a proof of what I'm saying. His name is on the list from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., as you can see. He stayed up late night helping after games and cleaning up, serving food. He was doing whatever it needed doing. I've seen him there myself working hard and trying to give back to the community.
Your Honor, at this point, the prosecution would like to enter the respective Exhibit 9 into evidence.
Are there any objections from defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then it's entered as evidence. You may proceed.
Thank you. Miss Rachel, I want you to move on, and I want to move on and talk about the last time you spoke to Trayvon Martin. Can you walk us through that call?
I'll try my best, counsel. This is really heartbreaking for me. Well, on the night of 26th February 2012, we were talking on the phone. We always usually do that. And he told me that he went to the store to get some candy, and then he was walking to his dad's house from there. And then he suddenly said that some creepy man was following him. He even called him a creepy ass cracker. So I told him to keep running, but then later he ran. He was trying to get away from that man because he didn't know who he was.
And what did you tell him to do?
I Initially I just told him to keep walking. We weren't going to look for trouble, you know. And then the man, he kept following him even after a long time. And then Trevor started running, breathing hard. He was saying that he lost him after a while. I still told him to keep running, you know, but he was tired and he was out of breath. And then he says that this man's coming real close to him.
What happened next?
Well, this is really tough for me. I will try to do my best so we can get justice for Trayvon. Anyways, I hear him say that, "What are you following me for?" And then I hear this older man say that, "What are you doing around here?" I called out. I was asking him what was going on. I was really worried for him. But Trayvon, I couldn't hear him say anything back. And then I suddenly hear a thump.
Can you explain the thump?
Well, it to me it sounded like someone bumped into him, but I couldn't say who it was exactly because the connection was getting really bad at the moment, and the phone kept cutting in and out.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that the prosecution is now screen sharing Exhibit 7.
Okay.
Ms. Rita, how familiar are you with Exhibit 7?
I am quite familiar with it. It shows my call log from that night.
And Ms. Rachel, what exactly does this show or prove?
Well, that shows that I tried calling him 3 more times after our call got cut off, and that was it. That was the last time that I ever talked to him. And then later I found out that he was gone. He was really dead. gone from this world.
I understand, Ms. Rachel. Your Honor, permission to move what has been pre-marked as Exhibit 7 into evidence.
Are there any objections from defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then it's entered.
Ms. Rachel, when did you find out about this tragedy?
Well, initially I had a bad feeling, like a really bad gut feeling, and then later somebody told me that he got shot. Naturally, I was very heartbroken. Trayvon was my best friend. I've known him for a very long time.
Ms. Rachel, how have you been recovering from all of this?
To be true, counsel, it's been really hard for me. I've been really heartbroken from that event. I couldn't even bring myself to go to his wake.
Ms. Rachel, what do you want the jury to understand about that night?
Just understand that it is true that Trayvon was my friend, but that doesn't mean that I am lying or that my words aren't true. Trayvon can't talk anymore, so I'm doing it for him. I am here to get justice for my friend, a good person who deserved to live and who had his life taken very. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Rachel. Your
Thank
Honor,
you.
we have no further questions.
All right, thank you. Is there a cross-examination from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you may proceed whenever you're ready.
Ms. Rachel, are you ready?
Yes, counsel, I will try to help you as best as I can.
How are you doing, Ms. Rachel?
Well, it's been really hard for me, but I've been holding up. I'm trying as best as I can.
Nice. So, can you please elaborate your relationship with Trayvon?
Well,
Briefly.
yes. Yes, we did meet back in second grade and we've been friends ever since.
Okay. You said you were in love with him, right?
Well, yes, I did have feelings for him.
Okay. So, you are biased, emotionally invested because you are in love with him, right?
Objection, Your Honor.
What is the objection based on?
Argumentative.
Okay, defense attorney, could you repeat your question?
Okay. We will move forward, Your Honor. Let's.
Okay. Then
Uh,
I'm gonna assume it's granted. Yeah, you may move forward.
Ms. Rachel,
Yes,
you
counsel?
have mentioned in your affidavit about Trayvon's suspension from school. Can you please tell the honorable judge why he was suspended from school?
Well, he did get suspended once. He had made mistakes like anybody else. He was caught with weed in school. That is why he got suspended.
So he was taking illegal things in bag when he was underage, right?
You have to understand, counsel, that that may be wrong, but he was going through a very tough period in his life. His parents were divorced. I'm sure you can understand how that feels.
Whatever reason it was, but it was illegal. We will move to the next question. So you were in contact with Trayvon Martin that night, right?
That is correct, yes.
You said Trayvon was scared.
I'm sorry, scared? Yes, he was scared. He did sound scared.
In the very next statement, you have said that you can't hear a thing, right?
That is correct. I did say that. There were moments when I couldn't hear.
Okay, so how are you so sure that Trayvon was scared?
When I could hear him, when I did hear his voice, I could tell that he was scared. His voice sounded scared. I've known him for such a long time. I know what he sounds like when he's scared.
The connections were not good and you can't hear a thing you yourself had said in the affidavit. Line number 51.
Objection, Your Honor.
What is the ground for the objection?
Asked and answered.
Okay, defense attorney, would you like to respond?
Your Honor, we have not asked before about this question.
Prosecution, would you like to further explain your objection?
Your Honor, a question about the bad connection and how it affected how sure she was of what she heard, the fear in his voice, has already been answered by my witness, Rachel Gentle.
To know
Okay.
that
Oh,
network
yeah,
was bad or not.
I'm so sorry I couldn't hear that defense.
Your Honor, I want to know that if the connection was bad or not, if she could hear a thing or not, because it's the basis of the case, Your Honor.
Okay, so you could rephrase that question to get a different answer from the witness that does not repeat the previous. Right. You may proceed.
Miss Rachel, are you here?
Yes, I am.
So, tell me about the phone call. Was it disrupted at that time?
There were
Objection, Your
moments.
Honor.
We
Uh,
have brief
on
question.
what grounds?
Compound question.
Yes.
I think she said, "Tell me about the the connection or something like that." Was the phone call disrupted? So I'm assuming that those are not two separate questions. One was just laying foundation, laying context for the second. So I'm gonna overrule that objection. But thank you for remaining alert, and defense attorney, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Rachel, may I repeat the question?
Yes, please do.
Okay, I was asking, was the connection bad or was it disrupted?
The connection was cracky, to be honest, and there were moments, I repeat, that I couldn't hear when I couldn't hear certain things that he said, but when I could hear, his voice was very clear and I could clearly hear what he was saying.
So everything you know is associated with a broken phone call. Okay, we will move forward. You mentioned that Trayvon said that he was coming real close to him. Zimmerman was coming real close to him, right?
He said that someone was coming real close to him, a man.
Okay, right. He was frightened at that time.
Yes, he did sound scared.
Then why he didn't run at that time?
He did run. He tried to outrun the man that was following him, and then suddenly the other man appeared in front of him again.
But he stopped at that time and he confronted, right?
He did not confront. He did stop because he was out of breath and he had been running for a long time and he needed to catch his breath. And he had only stopped because he believed that he had lost the other man.
Okay, so he did stop. Okay, we will move to the next question. You said that you heard a thump, right?
Yes, that is correct.
And someone had bumped into Trayvon.
Yes.
Okay. So how are you so sure that someone bumped into Trayvon and not Trayvon bumped into someone?
I heard a thump, like someone had bumped into Trayvon, but I couldn't say who it was exactly because of the cracky connection. But I can say this, that it was Trayvon who was being followed. It was him who was scared. So I'm sure that
But you
it
don't
was someone who
exact,
bumped into Trayvon. Sorry?
but you don't know exactly who bumped into whom, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So you are assuming that that Zimmerman bumped into Trayvon, right?
Objection, Your Honor.
On what grounds?
Asked and answered.
I am going to grant the objection, but for different reasons. I think the defense attorney may have been implying a certain answer in the question already in the way that it is phrased. So please move on from these questions.
Your Honor. Your Honor, if you allow us, we want to know that who attacked whom first. So that's why we are asking this question.
Okay, then you may clarify that and then move on.
Okay, Miss Rachel,
Yes.
do you exactly know that who bumped into whom?
I couldn't say for sure, but because of the cracky connection, but I know that Trayvon was the one being followed.
Okay, he was being followed, but you don't know who bumped into whom first. Okay, so you only assume that Trayvon was bumped, right? Your facts are missing from the very important moment of the case. I am sorry. Now we will move to the next question. You said in your affidavit that you couldn't bring yourself to go to Trayvon's wake, right?
Yes.
Why? Why is that? Isn't he was your close friend, your love?
See, counsel, it is true that he was my friend, And you have to understand that, like I said before, I was very shaken from his death. He was someone I was really close to. And when I found out that he was dead, that was really hard for me to digest emotionally, and I couldn't handle it emotionally. So, yes, I didn't go to his wake, and I said that I was going to the hospital, and it was only because
Okay,
I couldn't deal
okay,
with it emotionally yet.
but you should have said a goodbye to your love, as he was your very close friend.
That is true, yes, I should have, and I will when I'm emotionally ready to deal with it.
Okay, Mr. Rachel, this is all for the cross-examination, Your Honor. We want to clarify that Mr. Rachel has only assumed that Trayvon was attacked first, but he did not clearly know that whether Zimmerman attacked Trayvon first or Trayvon attacked Zimmerman first. So that's all from for the cross-examination, Your
Thank you. Is there a redirect from prosecution?
No, Your Honor. We'd like to proceed with the second direct examination.
Okay, thank you. Then, prosecution, you may call on your second witness.
Much obliged, Your Honor. Now I call Dr. Gina Simons to the stand.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon, Dr. Gina
Good
Simon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. So state your name, full name for the record.
Yes, it's Dr. Gina Simmons. That is Simmons.
Tell us about your occupation, Dr. Gina Simon.
Well, I'm a psychologist and a family and marriage counselor in a clinic which is called Schneider Family Services that I have co-founded with my husband. And before that, I have taught as an adjunct professor in San Diego City University for about 5 years.
Can you briefly describe your academic background?
Yes, I've earned a bachelor's degree in psychology from San Diego University in 1983, and I've also obtained a doctorate in psychology from the United States International University in 1991.
How long have you been practicing as a therapist?
Well, I've been working as a therapist for over 15 years now.
Dr. Gina Simons, in your years of counseling, what kind of emotional or psychological challenge have you frequently encountered in your clients?
Well, in my practice, working with families and couples, one of the most common issues I've seen is regarding poor anger management.
Dr. Gina Simons, can you tell us about your academic or clinical research you have done related to emotional responses and anger management?
Well, yes, I've conducted extensive research on how negative emotions, especially anger, anxiety, and stress, they have affected the way people respond to various situations.
Has your work ever been published?
Well, yes, I have written a book that is titled Frazzle Brain, and my blogs are also related to this topic regarding anxiety, anger, and stress. They've also been published in platforms such as Psychology Today and Forbes, and my work has gained recognition in this field, particularly after I published a research article in Cengage Learning on how media portrays violence and how that portrayal influences public behavior.
Dr. Simons, how did you first hear about this case?
I first heard about it online.
And what steps did you take after learning about it?
Well, I researched it extensively and I wrote about it in my blog. The prosecution then contacted me to investigate further and present my findings.
Dr. Simons, have you had any professional experience with youth trauma or racial profiling?
Yes.
Can you share a relevant case that you faced?
Well, once I counseled a young African American boy who essentially he was playing with a pellet gun when the police started to chase him and nearly shot him, just on the basis of assumption that he was dangerous.
Your Honor, now the prosecution would like to tender Dr. Gina Simon as an expert in the field of psychology with specific expertise in anger management, trauma, and implicit bias.
Okay, Ms. Simons is answered.
Much obliged, sir. Dr. Gina Simons, what methodologies did you use to reach your conclusion regarding this case?
Well, I used a combination of reviewing Zimmerman's past behaviors, his records, analyzing his statements and the police reports, and I applied psychological concepts such as implicit bias, motivated reasoning. Then I also relied on my clinical experience and research on how emotions affect decision making to form my conclusions.
What patterns did you recognize in Zimmerman's behavior based on your analysis of his records and statements?
Well, from my analysis, Zimmerman demonstrates a rigid black and white worldview, meaning he sees situations in extremes, take it good or bad or black and white, and he responds accordingly to it. He's shown a pattern of acting on these convictions without actually considering the extent to it or the context of the situation.
Your Honor, at this point, the prosecution would like to screen share exhibit number 2.
Okay.
Dr. Simons, are you familiar with this document?
Yes, I am.
Is this a fair and authentic document?
It is.
What is this document?
It is an offense made by George Zimmerman, I believe.
Your Honor, the prosecution would like to enter this exhibit number 2 as an evidence.
Okay, is there an objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then it's entered.
Okay, Dr. Simons, based on your analysis of these records, how would you characterize Dr. Zimmerman's approach to the justice?
Well, in my professional opinion, it's quite extreme. He pairs it with an irrational mind and that refuses to basically listen to reason. This often leads him to escalate otherwise minor situations. You see these examples in his history when, after he tried to physically confront a police officer who was lawfully arresting his friend, this reaction reflects impulsivity, disregard for authority, and a desire to assert control.
Your Honor, at this point, the prosecution would like to screen share exhibit number 3.
Okay, permission granted.
Dr. Simon, are you familiar with this document?
Yes, I'm familiar.
Is this a fair and accurate copy of the document?
Yes, it is.
What is this document?
This is a rejection letter from the police department to George Zimmerman.
Your Honor, now the prosecution will like to submit exhibit 3 as an evidence.
Okay, is there an objection from defense?
No objection.
All right, then it's entered.
Okay, Dr. Simons, based from these past history, this history of Zimmerman's, what conclusion do you reach? Have you reached?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Dr. Simons, based on these past records of Zimmerman, what supports your conclusion that he desires power and control?
Well, wait, I'm so sorry. Wait, give me a minute. Can you please repeat that question one more time? I can't hear you.
Dr. Simons, based on these past records, what supports your conclusion that Zimmerman's desire power and control?
Well, like I mentioned before, there are examples in his history. When we look at this exhibit as well, he tried to multiple times to join the police force, but then after that, he took it upon himself to start this neighbor watch group. This combined with his repeated interventions in situations involving others, particularly young Black males, this shows a pattern of asserting control where he feels empowered to do so, even without official authority.
Your Honor, now we'd like to screen share exhibit 8.
Okay.
Dr. Simon, are you familiar with this document?
Yes, I'm familiar.
Is this a fair and accurate copy of the document?
Yes, it is.
What is this document?
Well, this is a call records of repeated history of when George Zimmerman would call on suspecting young Black boys.
Your Honor, the prosecution would like to admit Exhibit 8 into evidence.
Are there any objections?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then it's entered.
Dr. Simon, what is implicit bias and how does it affect a person's decision making?
Well, first, you need to understand what implicit bias actually is. It is the subconscious tendency to basically associate certain behaviors or traits, which in particular, regarding a group of people. This can influence how someone perceives or reacts to them, even when they're unaware of it happening, because it is subconscious. It often seems from cultural messaging, media exposure, or maybe past experiences.
Based on your analysis, do you believe Zimmerman exhibited implicit bias in his action towards Trayvon Martin?
Yes, I do. We see that he had made already in his past records that he had made 46 calls to the police over time, and of the six made public, four of them involved young Black males. When we take this pattern along with his comments and actions, this could suggest that he was operating under an implicit assumption that young Black men were suspicious or threatening.
Can you explain, Dr. Simons, why motivated reasoning may have influenced Zimmerman's perceptions of Martin?
Well, first, you need to understand what motivated reasoning actually is. Motivated reasoning is when someone interprets information in a way that aligns with their emotions or their preconceived beliefs. So, Zimmerman likely saw Trayvon, a young Black male wearing a hoodie, and immediately associated him with danger. Because the encounter was so fast paced and emotional due to fast thinking, Zimmerman was likely engaging in, like I mentioned, is called fast thinking, which could bypass the rational deliberation and reinforces existing bias.
Dr. Simon, you reviewed police records and Zimmerman's statement.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I have to cut you off. Defense timekeeper said that the time has lapsed for your direct examination, and on my timer, it does say that it's exceeded 10 minutes. Do you guys also have a timekeeper to fact check this, or um,
Your Honor, I'd like to know that isn't it 8 minutes for these examinations?
right, but this has exceeded 8 minutes.
Based on the time that you're keeping, Your Honor?
Yes, and well, the defense actually just alerted me because I wasn't checking my time until they said the time is up, and then I checked my timer as well, and it does reflect that it's been over 8 minutes. So I'm just asking if you guys have a timekeeper as well to check.
Your Honor, we do not, but would like to mark an end of our direct examination if that is the case.
All right, sure. Thank you. Then we will be moving to the cross-examination. Defense, do you have a cross-examination for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor, we would like to cross-examine the witness.
Okay, you may proceed whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Simmons, are you there?
Yes,
Good morning, and thank you for your testimony.
thank you.
Dr. Simmons, you have testified as an expert witness in this matter, right?
Yes,
Okay. And you stated in your affidavit that this is your first time ever testifying in the court. Is that correct?
yes,
Oh, so to be clear, you have never previously offered a sworn expert testimony in any criminal case, okay? In fact, your
Well, I've
primary
never.
role is as a family and a marriage counselor, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So you are not a forensic psychologist or the criminal profiler, right?
I am a cognitive psychologist, so these patterns of behaviors are not limited to family and marriage. They can extend to all individuals.
Okay, thank you. Before you were conducted by the prosecution, you wrote a public blog, right?
Yes, I did.
And you labeled Zimmerman as a unchecked racism before even checking any evidence, right?
Well, that blog was based on my personal opinion. This current profiling
Okay,
expertise
I never met Mr.
and
Zimmerman
reviewed
in person.
concepts.
Okay, and you
No,
never met Mr.
no,
Zimmerman in person, right?
I have not.
And you never conducted any clinical interview with him.
Because this is a really common practice in court admitted analysis that you don't need to particularly meet the individual in order to make these interpretations or theories.
So your conclusion is based upon the secondary sources, his deposition and some exhibits, right?
Those aren't secondary, those are official resources that have been given by the police, called reports and interviews.
Okay. And you described Mr. Zimmerman as an having the extreme sense of righteousness. Is
Yes.
that a pharmacological diagnosis?
That is a base theory based on implicit reasoning that I have mentioned earlier and fast thinking. These are common symptoms seen in these individuals.
Okay. And you described his neighborhood patrol as the delusion of the leadership, right?
Yes, like I mentioned earlier, implicit biasness and reasoning, these are some, Zimmerman shows some common traits which link to these theories.
So are you aware of the Exhibit 4?
No, I was not granted Exhibit 4 as evidence to investigate.
Exhibit 4, which shows that the Zimmerman has the 4-month training course for the neighborhood watch training, right?
Well, in order to conduct my analysis, my cognitive psychological analysis, I was not granted Exhibit 4. I was granted Exhibit 2, 3, 6, and 8.
Okay, you mentioned in your direct examination that the Zimmerman called the police 46 times.
Yes.
And 4 calls out of the 6, which are publicly released, concern the blackmails, right?
Yes.
So do you know how many calls are in total involved people of other cases?
Well, this is a proportionality that's been given. It's 4:6. So you can tell that the majority, the 6 ratio, shows Black people.
So you are drawing your conclusion based upon the phone calls, right? Okay, you discussed the concept of fast thinking and the motivated reasoning in your affidavit.
Yes.
So isn't it true that the fast thinking is a universal cognitive process that occurs in the moment of stress to any human being?
It is regarding their emotional subconscious decisions, which can, yes.
Okay, could those same psychological responses not be the nature, fight and the flight reactions under the acute physical assault?
Well, this wasn't exactly a fight or flight situation. You could clearly hear regarding the phone calls that he initiated it.
Okay, you suggested that Mr. Zimmerman emotionally clouded his reasoning, right?
Yes.
So you didn't consider whether he might have genuinely feared for his life, right?
I have reviewed both of these cases. I've reviewed both Zimmerman's behavior as well as Trayvon Martin's, and this is the general conclusion I came across, that in motivated reasoning, in fast thinking, there could be multiple possibilities. It's all about interpretation.
Okay. Did you do any forensic or the medical report showing Zimmerman's injuries?
No, because that is not my field. It's about cognitive thinking, not forensic.
Okay. You briefly discussed the THC in Trayvon Martin system in your affidavit.
Yes.
So concluded that it had little or no impact on his behavior, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you consider the possibility that the Martin that night running, or returning back might have been influenced by that?
Well, generally, if you see 0.1 nanograms of THC would have most likely no effect.
Okay, you referred at the shooting as the result of the Zimmerman reaching his breaking point, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No further question.
All right, thank you. Seeing that there's no time for a redirect, I think we could all take a 5-minute break and then come back with the defense's case in chief. So, yeah, everybody go take your break. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Mr. Zimmerman, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Mr. Zimmerman, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah, sure. I do swear I'll tell the truth, nothing, the truth, but the whole truth.
Please state your name and age for the record.
Sure. My name is George Zimmerman. I'm 29 years old.
So, can you tell the honorable judge about your upbringing?
Yeah, absolutely. I was raised in a Catholic environment, and my parents believed that I should do something for the well-being of the society, like for the service and the good for people.
So, did that upbringing influence how you see your role in the community?
Yeah, of course. It influenced me in such a positive way. Like I felt the need to be uh, in a position to just secure my neighborhood area, and I decided to just make myself a neighborhood watch, and I did.
So, did you receive any training for the neighborhood watch?
Yeah, I did receive a certification. I also had a training of the Sanford Police Department. I received a certification.
Okay. Your Honor, the defense wants to add Exhibit 4 as the evidence of the certificate of the training.
Okay. So there's no objections, right? Oh, right, you're not answering yet. Okay.
Okay, we will move to the next question.
Objection, Your Honor.
On what grounds?
Hearsay.
Okay. Could you elaborate?
Your Honor?
Yes. On why
Yes,
this is
I believe this specific certificate is out of court and would naturally not be considered as an admissible evidence, but also that lack of foundation. I would also like to raise that objection, given that no foundation was laid for this certificate.
Okay, defense, do you have a response?
Your Honor, we have just asked that if he had any certification for the neighborhood watch captain, and this was an evidence given in the case file as Exhibit 4, in which the certificate was given for neighborhood watch training course, as you can see.
Okay, I'm gonna overrule the lack of foundation because I think they are trying to provide foundation for the credibility of this witness, and later on it's probably going to come into play. So I'm just gonna overrule this for now and hearsay as well because I'm curious to see where the defense takes this evidence and explores their line of reasoning. So I'm gonna overrule it for now. Defense may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Mr. Zimmerman, you had a neighborhood watch training course, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, and now we will talk about February 26, 2012. What time did you see Trayvon Martin for first?
Well, it was around after 7 p.m. when I was going to get some grocery and I saw some man who got very suspicious to me.
So, what about him caught your attention?
Well, he was hooded up and he was just walking in the neighborhood area, and I got him very suspicious to me. Like couldn't recognize him. Like why would? Because he was not the resident of that area. He was very suspicious to me.
So, Mr. Zimmerman, why were you so concerned about unfamiliar people walking through your neighborhood?
As being a neighborhood watch captain, I had so many incidents that I went through. As 2 months ago, is one of the paranoia, like a mother who had her two kids, and she was all alone, a single mother. And at that time, when her home got broken in, and I felt, and after that, when I got him very suspicious to me, that incident was in my mind that the person can do anything wrong in our neighborhood area. So that's what caught me very, and familiar some kind of incident that happened.
Okay, that's why you were so concerned about it. And
Yeah,
you, okay.
yeah, I couldn't trust him.
What happened next?
Well, after that, when I tried to get that man, that what exactly he was doing, I saw that he turned around me. He just attacked on me. Before anything, he got attacked on me. He bumped my head against the concrete, and I got hurt.
Okay, so did you confronted him?
Well, I just tried to ask him. No, I didn't confront him as I said that he attacked me first.
Okay. Did you get any injury?
Yeah, of course, as I told you that he bumped my head against the concrete. I got hurt and got 5 stitches in the back of my head and also got hurt in my face.
Had you intended to kill Trayvon Martin?
No, I didn't have any kind of intention to kill him. I just tried to just secure myself. I didn't have any kind of intention to kill anyone.
For the self-defense, right?
Yeah, of course, it was just a self-defense.
So were you relieved when the police arrived?
Yeah, the police, when I called the police that I got someone very suspicious to me, the police tone seemed very dismissive to me. And I felt like that he thought that I was overreacting and that I came out of my car and I went to that person.
At the end, when the police arrived, were you relieved?
Yeah.
Okay. Looking back, would you have done anything differently?
No, I just tried to just get him what he's exactly doing. I didn't do anything wrong or anything, very unusual.
Okay. That's all for the direct examination, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Is there a cross-examination for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Do I proceed with that?
Yes, of course.
Good morning, Mr. Zimmerman.
Good morning, Counsel.
You were with your friend when the police arrested him in 2005, is that right?
Yeah.
And what was he arrested for?
Actually, we both went in a sports bar, and he was at that time underage technically, and that's the police arrested him, and I just defended my friend.
Mr. Zimmerman, as a neighborhood watch captain, you must be aware that that was a fair arrest, given that he was underage and drunk.
I
Yes.
think, yeah,
And you then assaulted the police officer for doing this, because of which you were arrested too. Is that correct?
yeah,
And you assaulted a classmate in high school, didn't you?
Your
I
Honor,
did, but it was just for my, to keep myself secure.
Sorry, there was an objection. On what grounds?
opposing counsel is testifying.
Would you like to elaborate on why as you believe that?
Your Honor, the opposing counsel is only stating the witness affidavit and not asking her.
Okay, prosecution, would you like to explain?
Your Honor, in the position of George Zimmerman, he himself claimed that he assaulted a classmate in high school. I'm only bringing that up and reassuring and reiterating that point for the court.
Yeah, I'm gonna overrule that objection. I think she's just affirming a fact, so you may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. George Zimmerman, you were also accused of domestic violence in 2006 by your fiance. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was just an accusation, and that's, what happened in relationships. And it was just very usual and very ordinary thing.
Mr. Zimmerman, you call yourself the neighborhood watch captain, right?
Yeah.
And you gave yourself that leadership title and authority without any official approval. Is that right?
Yeah, it is, but because I believe that I am that much capable to do that duty, and I did, and I was doing it very perfectly.
George Zimmerman, you believe it to be a personal capability and individual authority and power for anyone to call themselves a police officer or a neighborhood watch captain? Is that what you're trying to say?
Not that much, but exactly what I'm trying to say is that I believe that I see myself that much capable not to hold the law enforcement or any kind of authority, but as being a neighborhood watch, whatever I was doing at that time was going on very smoothly.
Mr.
That's what.
Zimmerman, you applied to become a police officer, but you were rejected. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. I got rejected, but I will try another chance. I will go for another opportunity because it's my passion.
And Mr. Zimmerman, you were rejected due to lack of experience and past offenses. That is what the police officer of Sanford department stated in their certificate. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is because my training was not completed at that time.
And you're aware that even after this 4 months of short course, you're still not considered an official police officer, right?
Yeah, the training was not completed yet at that time.
And that means you can only right now report an unusual activity and never take it into your own hands. Yes?
I reported all the unusual activities that I have ever seen, and I reported them, and I made some emergency phone calls to the police. I reported police first before taking anything on my own hands.
Mr. George Zimmerman, I'd like you to limit your answers to yes or no to save the time of the court. Thank you. Mr. Zimmerman,
Sure.
you claimed that cops these days are just too darn soft. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You also claimed that your head was slammed into concrete and he broke your nose. Is that right?
Yeah, I got hurt at that time as he attacked me first.
Mr. George Zimmerman, is there any sort of evidence, any sort of medical report that proves such life-threatening injuries that were directed towards you by Trayvon Martin?
Police got these evidences when I got attacked by him and I got injured.
Mr. George, I'd like to reiterate that we have zero evidence to prove your injuries. Are you aware of that?
I think there were some evidences.
So is that a no to my question? There are no medical reports of your injuries.
No.
I cannot hear you. I'd like you to repeat your answer.
Sorry, please rephrase it.
Are there any medical reports that prove your injuries?
There is not a medical report, but police checked up on me, and the police came to know about these injuries.
Mr. Zimmerman, I'd like you to refer to any sort of evidence that you just spoke of regarding your injuries, because we know of no exhibit or evidence that highlights your injuries.
No.
Mr. Zimmerman, moving on, you confessed to reporting black men most of the time. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I think this question has nothing to do with that case. Do you
Mr.
think?
Zimmerman, moving on, you also said that black men just look so suspicious with their hoods on. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was hooded on at that time, and I couldn't recognize him very well, that what type of person he was.
Mr. George, your duty as a watch was to never intervene, but to merely report. Is that right?
Yeah, and that's what exactly I did in the time of the Trayvon Martin's case. I reported police first.
One of your duties was also following orders from the authorities. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct.
And the dispatcher told you, ordered you, commanded you not to follow, but you still did. Why
Yeah,
was
because
that?
I got the police officer's tone very dismissive. Like he was not taking me seriously. He thought that I was just overreacting. That's when I felt the need to be come out of my car, and I did because
So,
I
Mr.
was a
Zimmerman, that
neighborhood
is a
watch
yes to
captain.
my question.
Sorry, rephrase your question,
Is
please.
that a yes to my question?
Yeah,
Thank you. I'd like you to limit your answers to that. The
sure.
dispatcher told you to remain calm and not to overreact. Is that right?
Yeah,
You claim that once you realized Trayvon wasn't dangerous, you turned back and you went on your way back. Is that correct?
yeah.
What did Trayvon say to you before attacking you?
When he turned around me, he asked me, "What are you following me for?" And I asked him, "What are you doing here?" Like he was not the person of that area.
Mr. George, you were on your way back when Trayvon attacked you, right?
Yeah.
Why did he say, "What are you following me for," if you were on your way back?
I don't know why did he ask me. I was also shocked at that time. Why he's asking me this? Like I was the neighborhood watch captain at that time. Um, who the person he was to ask me this question? He
Mr.
also
George,
looked very surprised. as I
Mr.
was not
George,
following him. Yes.
I'd like you to complete your answer.
Yeah. As I said, that when he turned around me and he asked me that what are you following me for? Like I was surprised and I was shocked that why the person is asking me this, like I'm the neighborhood watch captain there. I must have had asked him, what are you doing
Mr.
here?
George, what was Trayvon carrying when you shot him?
I think he was just a bag he was carrying at that time.
That means that you were the only armed at the moment.
I had a gun, like it was a legal gun. I had legal weapon, and I was
Mr. George, that is a yes to my question.
yeah, it is. But
And Miss,
shall I say something?
you may.
Okay, thank you. As you asked about the something like I had carried at that time, it was a gun, right? And I mentioned that it was a legal gun. I will also mention that I was a neighborhood watch captain at that time. Like, why would not I carry something like that with my hands?
Mr.
Anytime.
George, did Trayvon Martin got hold of your gun?
Yeah. He attacked me, and I felt like
Your Honor, I would like to mention, I would like to screen share Exhibit 6. Your Honor, may I screen share Exhibit 6? Your Honor, I'd like to screen share Exhibit 6 regarding what George Zimmerman just claimed.
Yes, sure.
Mr. George, are you familiar with this document that this is a autopsy report?
sorry.
Are you familiar with this document, with this autopsy report?
No.
Give me a moment. With you, I'm unable to find. Yes. So the autopsy report confirms that Trayvon Martin, one, was unarmed and that your gun had no fingerprint signs of Trayvon Martin.
Yeah, it is.
You just claimed that Trayvon Martin got hold of your gun. He did
No,
not.
he didn't hold that gun.
That is all, Your Honor. No further questions.
Okay, thank you. Does the defense have a redirect for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then we will begin the direct examination for the second defense witness. You may call that witness to the stand whenever you're ready.
Sure, Your Honor. Chiefly, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, good morning and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Could you please introduce yourself to the Honorable Court?
My name is Bill Lee, and I have served as an officer with the Sanford Police Department for over 12 years.
And can you tell us about your background in law enforcement?
Certainly, I have worked in various roles: school resource officer, patrol supervisor, and community relation officer. I was born and raised in Sanford, Florida, and I have dedicated my life to serving this community.
Okay, can you briefly describe your connection with this case?
Yes, I was the chief of police at the time of February 26, 2012 incident involving George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. I led the investigation that followed.
Okay, what are your prior encounters with the Trayvon Martin?
During my time in the department, I became familiar with Trayvon Martin due to multiple incidents involving him. He had been involved in thefts, altercations, and misconduct at school. One incident involved a bag used for marijuana that led to a 10-day suspension, which was his third suspension from school.
What about George Zimmerman? Do you know him?
Yes, Mr. George Zimmerman was the neighborhood watch captain at the retreat at Twin Lakes. He was a frequent caller to the department, and he also legally carried a firearm under the Florida law.
And how many times did he call the police department?
Over 6 years, he made 46 calls, many of them reporting suspicious individuals.
And what kind of concerns did he report to your department?
Those calls were placed in his capacity to as a neighborhood watch volunteer, concerned about the activity in the neighborhood that had seen prayer break-ins.
What did Zimmerman report on the night of February 26th?
He reported, he called the police, as according to the timeline, at 7:09 p.m. to report a suspicious person, which was Trayvon Martin.
According to any forensic evidence, who started the altercation?
Uh, uh, there was no clear evidence. The only 9/11 call includes screams and a gunshot, but did not visually confirm who initiated the violence.
You said in your affidavit that the use of force was legally justified. Why was Zimmerman's use of force was legally justified?
According to Zimmerman's account, Trayvon attacked him first by pinning him and slamming his head into the ground. So, under Florida law, that's true. Zimmerman had the legal right to defend himself using force, even deadly force.
And why did you initially close the case?
Based on the lack of sufficient evidence, we did not arrest Zimmerman at that time. There was no clear proof contradicting his claim of self defense.
Then why did you follow the public backlash?
That was a concern by the community. Many in the community believe that our decision to not arrest Zimmerman was biased, partially due to his father's background as a magistrate judge, but that was not the case.
Okay, in your professional opinion, was the evidence sufficient to arrest George Zimmerman?
No, not based on the information we had that time, and in relying on facts and law, the evidence were not sufficient.
Okay, looking back, how do you reflect on your department's decision at that time?
Sure, our department decision was not based on public opinion, on media pressure, or racial concerns, but it was based on the law and the facts as we understood them.
Okay, chiefly, in your professional judgment, how would you characterize Mr. Zimmerman's response to the situation he encountered at that time?
Given the unclear witness report and the legal definition of self defense in Florida's law, uh, it was plausible that Zimmerman believed that he was in danger and he responded accordingly.
Okay, thank you, chiefly. No further question.
Great, thank you. Is there a cross-examination for this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you may proceed whenever you're ready.
I'm ready right now, Your Honor. I would like to proceed.
Okay.
Chiefly, George Zimmerman frequently called the police about suspicious individual. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Would you agree that many of those calls involved young black males?
According to the data released, yes, it was out of.
That is correct. Okay. So my next question is that did Zimmerman had a controversial past? Is that correct?
Yes, he did, but that is irrelevant because he was not a watchman at that time.
Zimmerman was charged with assault and also involved in another incident of domestic violence in 2005. Is that correct or not?
There were claims about the violence. He has a history of violation, but there were claims about it.
He was charged with assault, is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Is it correct that Zimmerman was not good role for the police?
Yes, that's why he was appointed as a neighborhood watch captain.
Is that correct that that was because of his history?
Yeah, sure.
Chief Billy, you stated that Zimmerman ignored the instruction by the dispatcher not to pursue Trayvon Martin. Is that correct?
Yes, and I think that he pursued the Martin. That was his capacity to follow his duty.
But my question is that correct or not?
Yes, that's correct.
Is it also correct that only Zimmerman's fingerprint were found on the weapon?
Yes, because the firearm belongs to Zimmerman.
Chief Billy, Trayvon Martin was unarmed. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
He was not engaging in criminal activity when Zimmerman pursued him. Is that correct?
I would like to correct. Zimmerman saw him as a suspicious person. Zimmerman did not knew that he was Trayvon Martin. He saw a suspicious person and followed him, as mentioned in the affidavit.
Chief Billy, my question is that correct or not that Trayvon Martin at that time was not doing any criminal activity? Is that correct or not? Was that criminal activity?
No, he was not doing any criminal activity, but according to Zimmerman's point of view, he seemed to him as a suspicious person.
So there was no criminal activity. And Mr. Chief Billy, there is no direct eyewitnesses to this incident. Is that correct?
Yes, the only 911 call included screams and a gunshot, but there was no clear eyewitness.
Okay, that is all from my side, Your Honor.
Sure, thank you.
All right, thank you. Seeing that we have a lot of time. Oh, wait, hold on. First thing, would defense like to give a redirect for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then in that case, this witness may be excused from the stand. So, okay, prosecution, you may deliver your closing statement whenever you're ready.
I'm ready, Your Honor. May I proceed now?
Yes, of course.
May it please the court. This case began with a 17-year-old boy walking home, and it ends with a simple question of here. Did George Zimmerman act in self-defense, or did he act on assumptions, bias, and poor judgment? The burden of proof lies on the state, and we have proved beyond reasonable doubt that George Zimmerman committed second-degree murder. And we have met the burden of reasonable doubt, not with speculation, not with theories, fabrication, but with credible testimony, facts, and Zimmerman's own words beyond reasonable doubt. Let's remember what this case is not about. It's not about a complex shootout. It's not about a burglary or a home invasion. This case is about a teenager walking home with a candy and a drink who was followed, confronted, and ultimately shot by a man who chose to carry a loaded weapon, and he disregarded any law enforcement advice. The defense wants you to believe that this was self-defense, but the facts tell a different story, one grounded in Zimmerman's action. Zimmerman saw Trayvon Martin. He was advised by the police not to follow, but he ignored that instruction. He got out of his vehicle and pursued Trayvon Martin on foot. Trayvon was unarmed. Zimmerman pulled the trigger. These are not accusations, Your Honor. These are undisputed facts. They were confirmed through witness testimony, forensic analysis, and Zimmerman's own statement. And what did the defense give you in response? A narrative of fear. A story where Zimmerman is the victim exercising self-defense against an unarmed teenager. A story where following an unarmed teenager through rain becomes reasonable. While the opposing counsel has made several claims, those claims fall apart when examined closely. Now ask yourself, who had the reason to be afraid? You heard from Rachel Gentle, the last voice Trayvon Martin ever heard. She testified that Trayvon Martin expressed fear, that he was being followed and tried to get away. She heard the fear in his voice, and then silence. You heard from Dr. Gina Simon, a renowned psychologist who analyzed Zimmerman's behavior, a man with deep need of control, a history of aggression, a record of profiling young Black males, a veteran, not a coincidence. The defense paints Zimmerman as fearful, but fear alone does not justify deadly force. The law requires that fear be reasonable and the response proportional. And the facts shows us a man who decided that suspicion was enough, that ignoring the police was justified, that carrying a gun gave him the right to judge and to kill. They want you to believe that Zimmerman was the one who was injured. But where is the medical report proving that injury? Who had the right to be afraid? The man with a gun or an unarmed teenager being chased in the dark? They want you to believe that George Zimmerman was the one screaming, but who was lying dead at the end of that incident? These screams ended with a gunshot and one lying dead body. This tells you all you need to know, Your Honor. Your Honor, Trayvon Martin had every right to be in that neighborhood. He had the right to walk home without being profiled, pursued, or shot. Your Honor, Trayvon Martin and his past in being brought up with fabrication. The defense and their chief believe their witness, he put forward an evidence exhibit 8, exhibit 10, in which the messages that he has given in exhibit 10, B and C, they are from November 2012, when the murder occurred in February 2012. How can a dead person message his friend after his death? This is clear indication of fabrication. Your Honor, they want you to believe that Trayvon Martin had a controversial past, but Your Honor, Trayvon Martin is not on trial here. His record is not on trial here, and these fabrication prove that they want to paint Trayvon Martin in a bad light. But here we have to mention that Zimmerman has made deliberate choices. He has not given any proportional response to whatever happened that night. He made a series of deliberate choices to carry a gun, to follow a teenager, to get out of his car, to confront, and to shoot. The defense called this a self-defense, but you cannot claim self-defense when you start the confrontation, you disregard police, and you use deadly force against an unarmed teenager. Your Honor, this is not justice based on fear. This is fear used to excuse injustice. Trayvon Martin was the one being followed, Trayvon Martin was the one running, and Trayvon Martin was the one who ended up dead. This is not self-defense, this is a second-degree murder. Our case has been clear, consistent, and supported by credible evidences from the beginning to the end. Your Honor, justice asks you not to look away. Justice asks you to see the fact, and justice demands one verdict: guilty. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm just gonna fill out the ballot, and in the meanwhile, defense, you may proceed with your closing statement whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Honorable jury and the opposing counsel, let's talk about what this case really comes down to. It's about that the George Zimmerman was thinking and experiencing in the exact moment he believed his life was in danger. Imagine yourself in dirt, in rain, being stuck and pinned down. The fear, that instinct to survive, is what matters here. Zimmerman did not want a fight. He did not plan for the violence. But when the situation escalated, he reacted like any human being would when they fear their life. And under the law, that means he is not guilty. Florida law permits the use of deadly force when a person reasonably believes such a force is necessary to prevent the immediate death and a great bodily harm. The question is what a reasonable person in the Zimmerman's position would have believed and how would he have reacted under the attack? The burden of proof here lies on the prosecution. Now look at the witnesses the prosecution relied upon. Their first witness, Rachel Genital, clearly cared deeply for Trayvon Martin, and we respect that. But the emotions are not evidence in the criminal cases. Miss Genital was not there at that night. She relied totally upon the phone call with the poor reception and admitted that she could not tell who bumped into whom in her affidavit. But now, during the cross examination, she said that she just assumed that Trayvon Martin was attacked first without having any evidence. And her memories are filled with emotions, not the objective observation. In the case where the every detail matters, Miss Genital's testimony is simply too unclear and too emotional to tell us with the certainty what actually happened that night, and we cannot rely upon her testimony. And then the prosecution presented Dr. Gina Simmons, an expert witness, but she never met Mr. Zimmerman in the person and never conducted any psychological evaluation and admitted that it was her first time testifying in the court. Her opinion were not grounded in a clinical testing or the objective analysis. She had already labeled the Zimmerman as a racist and dangerous in her viral blog even before reviewing any case file. She spoke of the fast thinking and the motivated reasoning, and she also admitted that everyone under stress experienced the fast thinking, but refused to admit the fear could have driven the Zimmerman's action. And she admits the Zimmerman also acted at time in the stress. And chiefly, a defense witness, being the expert in her profession, stated that with the evidences from the both sides, an unclear witness call, he could not be sure if Trayvon Martin attacked first or if the Zimmerman initiated the conflict. Initially, he closed his case because he don't have any evidence. And now relying on the facts, the jury must consider the Zimmerman's belief at the moment of decision. He faced a large assailant in the dark, fearing for his life. Any hesitation in restoring the force could have meant his own death. Member of jury, the law honors our most fundamental right, the right to protect our own life. Judge Zimmerman responded instructively to unprovoked attack in the dark. He did what any reasonable person would have done. He defended himself. The burden of proof here lies on the prosecution, but the prosecution is failed to prove beyond any reasonable doubt. And we ask you to find Mr. Zimmerman not guilty of second-degree murder. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the speech. So I am gonna make a few closing remarks. Today's trial is like one of the most high-level trials I've ever judged for LACA, and I was very, very impressed by how it unfolded. So great work, everybody. I'm really sorry about the network issues. I think overall it went pretty smoothly in terms of the internet. And I have comments written for everybody on my ballot, so hopefully they will release that to you. If they don't, you may contact LACA on email, and then they will, put you guys in place for conversation with us and our executives. So just reach out to these resources if you really need anything. But overall, great work from everybody, and I am very happy to have been able to stand by and preside on this trial. So thank you all, and I hope you have a great night, rest of your day. I don't know what time is it for you guys, but it's currently afternoon for us, so you could still do a lot. So yeah, I will submit these ballots, and great work. I'll hopefully see you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Bye.
You.